Once upon a time, in a small close-knit town, lived a young couple, Chioma and Chima. They had been married for 3 years, bound by love and the shared dream of building a family. Chioma was known for her gentle nature, always wearing a smile that brightened the day of everyone she encountered. Chima, her husband, was a hard-working man who adored his wife deeply. Their marriage, however, was haunted by a shadow neither of them had anticipated. Despite this hope, every time Chioma became pregnant, tragedy struck. Time after time, she would suffer the heartbreaking loss of her pregnancy. After the fifth pregnancy, her mother-in-law became uncomfortable and decided to take Chioma with her to the village. She prepared some concoction and gave to her, hoping that would help the issue. 10 times in total, each one more devastating than the last. This time around, she was in a different hospital, not the maternity she was using, and the doctors eventually discovered that Chioma and Chima had incompatible rhesus factors in their blood, as Chioma is O negative and Chima was O positive, leading to the miscarriages. Though it was not their fault, just that they were not properly counseled before getting married, as they only did traditional and no counseling as such before the traditional marriage. Away from this story, let's find out, all these tests, are they really necessary before going ahead to say I do? I would say, if you're single and intending to get married, it's important you know and understand your resource factors. Back to our story. Chioma felt a deep, overwhelming grief. She blamed herself for the inability to carry a child, despite knowing the medical reasons behind it. Chioma and Chima still believed and hoped that one day they would overcome this challenge, as they were hoping that they would be able to get the financial means of going for proper monitoring, as Chioma's body had already become sensitized. What does it mean for one's body to be sensitized? In this context of resource incompatibility, it means that the woman's immune system has been exposed to Rh positive blood since she is Rh negative and has developed antibodies against it. This typically happens to an Rh negative woman, that is, someone doesn't have the Rh factor on her red blood cell, is known as rhesus negative. Rh negative is exposed to Rh positive blood, which can occur during pregnancy. Once a fetus is Rh positive, the fetus is the unborn child in the womb. Sensitization is significant because once it occurs, it cannot be reversed and it can pose risk in future pregnancies. That is why preventive measures are crucial to protect both the mother and any future RH babies she may carry. Back to Chioma and Chima. All of a sudden, Chima started to change. His initial concern and support for Chioma's well-being faded. It was replaced by frustration and despair. As time went on, the whispers of the townspeople began to grow. Some of them, not understanding the science behind resource incompatibility, started to suggest that Chioma might be cursed or worse, possessed by the evil spirit. Chima, increasingly influenced by these whispers and his own growing bitterness, began to entertain these thoughts. He started to withdraw from Chioma and he no longer the loving husband he once was. One evening, after yet another miscarriage, Chioma was so devastated as she was all alone at home when the miscarriage occurred. She was so sad because they were hoping to get some money to be able to pay their bills and to pay for the Rogam injection and the monitoring proper. She managed herself and was able to get to the hospital. The doctors attended to her and an emergency evacuation was done on her. Her husband, Chima, was informed that his wife was in the hospital, but Chima had made up his mind never to go close to anywhere Chioma was. This was how Chioma stayed all night in the hospital and spent half of the day the next day at the hospital. By noon, she was discharged and she went home. On getting home, she saw her bags packed in one corner of their apartment. That evening, as she sat quietly in the living room, her eyes red from crying. She didn't know how to explain this whole thing to her husband. Something in her snapped as Chima, her husband, came home late, reeking of alcohol and anger. He looked at Chioma. "Get out!" he yelled, his voice echoing through their small home. "I can't do this anymore. You are cursed. You must be possessed. How else could this happen? Good times. And how do we explain this? Am I the only man to marry a wife? For 3 years, I have nothing to show for my hard labor. You have brought nothing but sorrow." Chioma was stunned unable to comprehend what she was hearing. She tried to reason with him, to remind him of the love they once shared, of the hope they had, and that which they held onto together. But Chima had already made up his mind. He grabbed her by the arm and dragged her to the floor, throwing her out into the cold night. As Chioma struggled and begged for Chima to allow her into their little home, Chima got into the apartment and slammed the door and bolted the door from behind. That was how Chioma was left outside in the cold night. As Chima was on his own, alone in the apartment, was shouting, "Don't ever come back here!" His party's face twisted with rage. "You are not my wife anymore. I will find someone who isn't cursed." The next morning, Chioma knocked on the door to beg, "Please, Chima, please, I am begging. Give me just this one more chance." "No way! Get out of this place. I do not want to set my eyes ever on you again, you cursed woman." Chioma felt the pain through her heart. She sat on the floor and wept. After some minutes, she carried a bag, decided to travel to the village to see her mother-in-law if she could plead on her behalf with her son, Chima. Few days after, Chima's mother sent for him. On getting to the village, Chima was very angry seeing Chioma in their house in the village. "Mama, what exactly is this cursed woman doing here? I have told her, and I am not going back on my words. I do not want her as a wife anymore. I will find someone who isn't cursed." Abba, Chima. It is true that she may have experienced miscarriages, but remember that she is not alone. You both were together in this journey. Now, you want to abandon her? Mama, I have had enough of all the sorrows that Chioma had packaged for this journey. I am no more interested. I don't want her anymore. At this time, Chima's mother got the message clearly, and then she told Chioma, "Don't worry, just stay here with me." This was how Chima went back to town and left Chioma in the village with his mother. Anyways, as long as Chima was concerned, it was his mother that kept Chioma in the house. He was not interested in whatever was happening in the life of Chioma again. 6 months after, Chioma had stayed in the village with her mother-in-law, and Chima never looked back or called or said anything about Chioma. Chioma, on the other hand, felt the abandonment and decided to go to her people. And this was how Chioma left Chima's mother to her people and never returned. This journey that started in a beautiful way ended with a sour taste. All my beautiful young people intending to be married one day, knowing your resource factor is as important as knowing your HIV status. And for those married already that may be experiencing what Chioma and Chima experienced, this is not the time for the blame game. Reflame your fire of love and seek medical attention. I am sure you will have beautiful testimony. Thank you so much for watching my story. Please share with me what you enjoyed in the story and what you learnt from the story. This is African Tales by Ewa. Please, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, do so, and also share this story with your loved ones. Appreciate your time spent on my channel. I do not take your support for granted. Until I come again with another interesting story. Bye for now.